Hi all, welcome back to my YouTube channel. So a decade has passed. Now I'm not going to be doing a talk about the whole decade. One, it would take forever, and two, 10 years ago I really wasn't doing much apart from deciding what courses I wanted to take in college. Instead, I'm actually just going to talk about just this year, 2019, because at the end of 2018 going into 2019 is when I made that decision to try and become a full-time artist. So this has been my first year of taking my art from a hobby to trying to build a career. And I have to admit, it's been slow going and there's been some highs and lows, and that's what I want to talk about. Now, the main thing I want to talk about is social media. So as of today, to Boxing Day, I've got 210 followers on Instagram and 17 followers on YouTube. Now, YouTube's only been going for 6 months, but even so, a lot of people will see that as a very small number. But like anything, if you're not being consistent, then things aren't going to go as well as what you thought. I started the year with doing all my pastel work, which was the namesake Curious Roses, so the roses with the eye in the middle, and having those with different things from skulls to animals and in different settings, and mainly in a smaller A5 size. And I was posting pretty much every single day on Instagram, and the first couple of months I was doing quite well, as in getting up to 50 followers on Instagram, which was a big deal. But I did make a few mistakes, and the first mistake I made of the year was trying to open an Etsy store and trying to create my own prints from home. It was a big financial investment into a printer, and I didn't even have my own laptop. I was using my partner's dad's laptop to try and improve the pictures, but I didn't really know the software that well, and I didn't take the time to learn it. I didn't get as much print paper samples as I should have to practice different types of paper to see what one I liked, and basically it's one mistake after another. But I can definitely say I've made pretty much every mistake I can make, so when I do decide to open up my Etsy store again, I know what not to do. But yeah, that's how I started, and I was trying to sell prints of my Curious Roses work with pastel work, and I was having some difficulty. I did actually get a few sales, I won't lie, I did get a couple of sales, which was amazing, and it did actually produce a commission as well of a baby portrait, which I was really proud of, to the point where I've actually had overall 6 commissions this year, and it's been ranging from portraits, dog portraits has been the majority of it, and also a canvas piece that I did. And I enjoyed all of them, all for different reasons, and they've all been challenging in different ways. So I can't say that opening the Etsy store was the worst decision that I've made, because it has created all these opportunities, but I can definitely say I went into it far too quickly and should have taken my time a little bit more. But that's not to say that anyone out there who's thinking of starting shouldn't do it. You need to do it, you need to try it, and whatever mistakes you make, just learn from them. So I moved on about May-June time from creating pastel works to actually just working in acrylics. Now, this change was heralded by the Sketchbook, which is this sketchbook, which if you've seen the Sketchbook tour, you would have known at the point where it changes. If you haven't, I think it's in the second part of the Sketchbook tour, where basically I talk about how much I enjoyed painting in my sketchbook, and it did reignite a passion in me for painting, because previous to this I had mainly worked in acrylics and I really enjoyed it before changing to soft pastel. But I was starting to move away from the Curious Roses, where I started doing more pieces centered around just animals, endangered animals, and that was really important to me and still is, but I can definitely say it wasn't a part that I loved about my art. And I still felt there was something missing. The part that was missing was highlighted even more towards October, slightly before that in August when I did the 100 Heads Challenge. The 100 Heads Challenge reminded me how much I enjoyed drawing portraits, how much I have to learn about it, and how many things I have so many ideas when it comes to portraits, and when it came to painting animals and things like that, it was more difficult. It wasn't as natural for me, And doing the 100 head challenge reminded me how easy it was, because I would draw a portrait and I would look at it and be like, oh, I could put this background with it, I could do this with it, and it was great. And then I also did more draw this in your style challenges. I didn't do much in September because I went on holiday to Thailand, and it was a much needed break. It made me reprioritise my day job and realise that what I was trying to achieve there was going to cut too much into my art career. So that decision, along with doing Inktober that followed, really made me realise, okay, I actually want this as a career. Like, I decided at the start of the year that I wanted this to be a career, but it was actually after doing all those challenges and after going away and taking a bit of time off in Thailand where I really found me as an artist. Which brings us to today's work of Dreamscapes. Now, it's actually really interesting because these Dreamscapes, they are sort of similar to the original work I was doing before I even started the Curious Roses, and that was portraits, fantasy portraits, but they were a lot darker. So that's what I would do as a hobby. I would do that style of artwork, and then for some reason when I decided to do a career, I changed completely. I felt like I had to find my style. I had to find something that was completely different and something that nobody else was doing, and portraits were too common, and I changed completely to the pastel work. And I have spent all year finding myself and going back to the work that I enjoyed in a different medium, because I use gouache now rather than the pastel work. And that's also why I'm at the point where I'm only at 210 followers on Instagram, because I have spent this last year trying so many different art styles and being all over the place that nobody knows whether I'm coming or going, and that's not somebody you want to follow on social media. Anyway, that was a bit of a ramble, but basically this year's been a massive change, and it's been rediscovering myself after trying to do something that just wasn't me. So I can say this first year I've been trying to do art full time, but I can definitely say it's not been. I would say 2020 is going to be the first year of me truly trying to be an artist, because I've spent this year discovering my style. Now, that's not to say I haven't had things. So as said, I've had the commissions and I had a couple of Etsy sales and things like that. But 2020, that's the year where I'm really going to push it more. I want to try and do some more commissions. I want to fully grow on social media, and I'm even looking to reopen my Etsy store. Now, all of this seems like a lot, but I have a whole year. And even if it takes me till November next year before I have one thing up in my Etsy shop, that's okay. Anyway, no, this video has been a massive ramble, but I suppose at the end of it all, it's just whatever's happened with your year, try and look back on it, take some positive things from it, and then look forward to what's going to happen in 2020. Set yourself some goals of where you would like to be and what you want to try and achieve out of that year, and just go out and do it. So one thing I've learned from this year as anything is you cannot be too scared to do it. You just have to try it, and if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but at least you can say you tried, which has definitely been this year's motto, I think. Anyway, I hope you've kind of enjoyed this and this kind of like past show of old artworks to where I am now and things like that. This video has mainly been for me, I won't lie, just to try and prove to myself that I've got this far, and hopefully a couple people found it helpful. But let me know in the comments below what you thought. But going into 2020, just want to talk briefly about the YouTube channel. So I am going to be doing more of the vlog style, which was the previous video that you saw, and I am going to also be continuing on with my hour in a sketchbook video. So if there's certain things you would like to see, certain tutorials that maybe you'd want or things like that, please let me know in the comments below, and I'm definitely going to look into doing a couple of those in the new year as well. Otherwise, I hope you've all had a good year, and if it's not been the best, I hope 2020's even better.